We are now in the inspirational territory of Brandur Karlsson. We can call him Brassi. He is okay with that. And he is going to have the biggest tech startup of us all because of his chair. He will probably do something much cooler than we can ever do. Now, your microphone is being brought to you right there. Video is being put onto the screen. Brassi and his project Frumbjörg is an innovation and co-working space for startup founders and entrepreneurs who are disabled. And Frumbjörg just got a 195% funding on Carolina Fund and is now in production. Yeah, very good. So here to tell you all about responding to your environment is Brassi. There you go.
Thought you were going to start with a video.
Yes, we were going to start with that.
Yeah, I used to play it while I was getting ready.
Yes, I know. That's always cool.
I get to do my lecture. All right. Anyway, well, I was going to start following the video, so I guess I might as well just start telling you about the project that you're about to see. So basically what happened was that I saw a movie, and in that movie there was a man who was similarly disabled as I am, and he was able to paraglide. So I thought, I can do that. So I found a friend of mine who runs a company through Adventure, and if you have time, you can go to Wikimedia, and he will give you a discount of paragliding if you mention my name. Just waiting for that one moment. That moment. If you're good at lip reading, you might see that I actually spontaneously cursed there. I was literally, there was 4 guys who literally just threw me off a cliff. And in that moment, we'd been working towards that moment for a year. We raised money and we started designing a chair, and along the way, Ushers, the prosthetic company, came and told us that they would sponsor it. So the end result that we got there was infinitely better than the one that we began with. But yeah, that moment when they threw me off the cliff, that was kind of the culmination of everything that we've been working for. And I was very relieved that the parachute actually held us up. And I was very surprised. The rest of the ride was very relaxing. It was very calm. And that 15 minutes, it was just, I got to enjoy all the efforts that we had put into this project. I'm very glad because there you see another friend of mine who also got to try out the chair, and now many disabled people have been able to fly because of the stuff that we did. So I can probably say that it's definitely one of the best days of my life. I was actually kind of disappointed. This landing was so soft. I barely noticed it. I was kind of hoping for more of a roller coaster, but it worked out fine. You can go to the slide. So like I say, that was probably one of the best days of my life, but one of the worst days of my life was first time I saw this picture.
It's a terrible picture.
Yeah, terrible picture. Yeah, so that's my brain, my big brain. But you can see there in the area on my, now all the terminology fails me. It's below my cerebellum. There's a white area. So that's the
right
reason why, yeah, right there. So that's the reason why I am in this chair today. And this was a 4-year process where I went from being completely fit, practicing judo, to being completely paralyzed beneath the neck. And I met many doctors. I went to the Mayo Clinic in America and talked to doctors from all over the world. And nobody was able to tell me what was actually going on. So for 4 years, every day I would wake up and I had lost the ability to do something that I had been able to do all my life. And this was a big challenge. But eventually, I really just thought I was about to die, because nobody could tell me what was going on. So I had kind of accepted that, and it's strange to say, but there's a peace in accepting your own death, and the responsibility over what you're going to do with the rest of your life is completely gone. You don't have to do anything. You just enjoy whatever time you have left. But then what happened was I didn't die. So suddenly I had to find something to do with the rest of my life. And this posed a big challenge because I could no longer use my legs and my hands, so I had to find some way of fulfilling my interests, not just doing whatever was available, because that's kind of the case. There are very limited options for people with my kind of disability in Iceland. The only area where I can really live is Reykjavik, and going to school is possible, but it's difficult. I don't feel like waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and well, 7 o'clock, because it takes me an hour to get there. So I had to find something else to do. So the first thing that I discovered was painting. Okay, you can go next one. So I started painting by biting a brush and painting with my mouth, and I got a lot of support. So I kept painting, and next slide. I eventually had an art exhibit in the City Hall, and I was able to sell most of my paintings that I painted there. Can you go next slide? So those are some of the paintings that I did. And I was able to use the proceeds from that exhibit to rent some office space in a building that is owned by an organization that runs sort of a social service for mobility impaired people, Sjálfsbjörg. Next slide. Yeah, it was supposed to be a joke about merchandising. But I got my picture on the cover of a science journal, which was quite good. Next slide. So teaming up with Sjálfsbjörg, what we decided to do is, they had actually started talking about it, and I came into the project, and they asked me if I could help them run it, because I really like futurology and sci-fi and stuff like that. So I had some basic knowledge of innovation. So we started out by taking the office space that I had been renting, and we were going to renovate it to make it available as office space for innovators who are working in the field of health and welfare. So, we have a specific field. And also for disabled entrepreneurs who are trying to find their own niche. So, we did the Carolina Fund, crowdfund, and it went very well. It was a lot of work, though. I had to. It was kind of like you're rolling a ball up a hill. If you ever stop, then the ball is just going to fall again, and nobody pays attention to you. You have to constantly get yourself into the media, and I experienced it like it's like you're yelling in the wind of media, and you're always getting drowned out, so you constantly have to keep yelling more and more and more. It's worth mentioning that Carolina Fund is actually open for investors now, and so I think that's a very exciting investment opportunity. I'm probably forgetting a lot of stuff, but anyway, next frame. So I'd like to tell you about some of the projects that are being developed now in Frumbjörg. This one is run by Kveikjan. Next frame. So these lovely ladies are organizing a conference in social innovation, and I'm sure they are here in the building. I'm sure they'll be very interested in talking to you if you have any experience or interest in social innovation. And I think I've been going to a lot of conferences in Iceland. I've used every opportunity to go to financial conferences, innovation conferences, and I have to say that I feel that this discussion has been lacking in a lot of them. They're very financially oriented, and which is of course a good thing. That's kind of the point of it all. But I think our world is changing. There are a lot of challenges that are becoming more and more serious, and I think elevating the social aspect of innovation is going to be very important. So this conference will be in September, and I hope you can come then. Next. So this project is very close to my heart. As you can see, it's me again. And the gentleman with the cap is Richard Nelson, who is the inventor of the solar roof technology. So this project is basically traditional greenhouses. You always have the conflict of trying to have as thin material as you possibly can to allow as much sunlight in. But problem is then that you lose the thermal insulation. So normal greenhouses, they both release a lot of carbon dioxide and greenhouse gases, as well as cost a lot of energy to produce the food that we eat. So the innovation in this is that, well, there are actually many innovations and take a very long time to go through all of them, but to mention a few, what they've done, what Richard has done is you take 2 layers of very, very thin plastic that allow very, very large amounts of sunlight to go through, and then during the night you fill them with soap bubbles, which surprisingly has extremely high thermal insulation properties, higher than many of the walls that we use, you know, the stone wool that is very common in Iceland. And also there's the liquid cooling system, which works in that you put cold water on the outside of the inner layer, and what happens if it's warm inside, then you put the cool water, is you get condensation. So it's a similar process as to when you're sweating. So that way you can cool it down without opening it. So you see the picture on the top right is a prototype that's been built in Norway, and they've run an academic experiment on that, and the results are challenging because they're just too good to be true. So it's made it a challenge to market it sometimes, but basically the energy expenditure is 80% less than the traditional Dutch greenhouses, and it releases 56 times less carbon dioxide. So we are approaching zero. So basically with some development, we will likely be able to develop this so that we will be able to grow food without releasing any greenhouse gases. And you can see on the bottom left, there's another bigger version, the tripod, and on my left is my good friend and compatriot, Ricardo, who is the ideologist behind the global cooperative that we are hoping to start in Iceland this summer, which will allow people from all over the world to come and work on this idea in an open source platform. Next pick. So these are some of the versions that we anticipate will be built. The AgriPod is the one that is being shipped out now. We are actually started production and anticipate getting our first house sometime in September. Next pick. So another project. So many of you might have seen this picture before. So what this is the flattening out of the age pyramid. So this data is actually from America, but we're seeing the similar trend all over the world. So the way our system works today is the people on the bottom are working to sustain the people on the top. So as the top gets heavier, there's more pressure on the bottom. So literally our social system as it is today is going to collapse. There's no way that we can sustain our current methodologies. So we're going to need a lot of innovation in that field. So the next slide. So this is a project that's being developed in Frumbjörg right now. What this, the Butler does is it allows you to monitor variables like electricity and water usage so that you can monitor people and see whether they are healthy and safe and alive without invading their privacy by using a camera or a motion sensor. This is also Internet of Things open source platform, not open source, sorry, platform, so you can connect all kinds of sensors. I actually chose the picture of house with a heart. It's maybe slightly too gruesome for marketing, but a woman up top seems to like it, so that's all right. All right, next picture. So this is another project that's also being developed. Keynet Solution, what they do is they use wireless muscle sensors that allow physiotherapists to see the activity of the muscles as they are being used. So I like to compare it with, imagine when a biologist first got a microscope. You know, it opened up entire new methods of exploring. So this technology, you can go to the next one, allows physiotherapists to actively monitor the muscles as they're being used. And I believe Christian is in the building. You can, he's right over there. You can see him come out if you'd like to chat with him. My mouth is so dry. Can you, next slide? There's one more slide. So how am I for time? Last time I went through the slides, I was 20 minutes, so I decided to accelerate through. But since nobody's waving me off, I'd like to finish with mentioning that I was here last year, and I realized that there is a connection with being an artist and being an entrepreneur. And I think the reason why I gravitated towards painting in the beginning was because living in my limited world that I had found myself in, being an artist, it kind of means that you get to do whatever you want. Of course, you're limited, you know, as an painter, you can only, you know, paint, but still, you can paint whatever you want. Same applies to being an entrepreneur. You have your certain frame of reference, but still, you're able to do anything that you want. So I decided that I was going to speak here a year later. So I've actually been preparing this talk for a year. And I wasn't going to try to teach you anything, but one thing I can teach you is that a year is way too long time to prepare for a 15-minute talk. So I could probably sit here for an hour and blab, but I think I'll let that suffice. So thank you very much. And,